The Premier League summer transfer window is over, and I'm here to rank those signings in either the top 5 category, which I'll do at the end. I'm going to pick what I think are the 5 best transfers. Brilliant, good value for money. You know, it's a free agent, it's a 12 million deal. Can't go wrong with that. Doesn't move me, and just why have you signed them? Now, these are the transfers we're going to be ranking, and I did say it's every single Premier League transfer. It's all the main transfer signings that are, expected to get game time and stuff from the top 10 clubs. The top 10 clubs are the traditional big 6 clubs: Newcastle, Aston Villa, West Ham, and Brighton. Just thought, I don't want this video to be an hour long by including every team, but to be fair, I think Bournemouth have made some good signings. So have Palace, so maybe I'll have to do one on my second channel with the other sides. But look, I don't want to drag this video out really long. Let's get into it. But if you disagree with my opinion, let me know why down below. And yeah, let me know your thoughts on all of these signings. And do comment, first of all, who your top 5 signings are, or wait to the end to do that. Starting with Luis Guilherme, signed from Palmeiras by West Ham. Young player, up and coming. I'd put him in the good category. It's about his potential, it's about his future. It's Esteban Endrick and, of course, Guilherme. They're the 3 sort of young talents coming through at Palmeiras. Another West Ham signing was Fulkrug. To be honest, I got a lot of positivity around the signing, and a lot of people saying it's a good deal for West Ham. He got 12 goals and 8 assists in 31 Bundesliga games last season. He's quite an experienced player coming in at age 31, but I just think with the age, for me, I'm going to be honest, a lot of people say positive things, but it doesn't actually move me, the transfer. And I know some West Ham fans are not going to be happy with me saying that, but I think he's done some really good business. But this one, it just doesn't move me like the others as well. Odebert. So I just said his name wrong. I think this would be a good signing for Tottenham Hotspur. I think when you look at the profile of player he is, he suits Ange to a T. I think he's young, he's raw, he'll have to improve decision making, final ball, of course, but that's going to come with time. I think when you look at his raw attributes, when you look at his price tag, when you look at his potential, I think this is a very good signing for Tottenham. And I think if you look what Ange wants, I think you can't argue with it being a good signing. I think it's probably a better signing than Guilherme because he's got Premier League experience. I think he's more ready. I think it's a good deal. Going into the brilliant category, Ricardo Calafiori, one of the best players at the Euros. I think Arsenal have struck gold with that deal. As I said, one of the best players at the Euros. Even before the Euros, I made a video talking about this guy and how he was on my list of options I would like United to sign. I did a video talking about how I'd like him at Manchester United, and this was before the Euros when he got all the hype and recognition because I'd watched him play at Bologna. He was fantastic as well. Going into Lucas Bergvall. Now, I feel like Lucas Bergvall will be a brilliant signing. Now, you could argue Tottenham needs someone for now, and this is a guy for the future, so maybe you put him over in the good signing because he's not going to make instant impact. You could look at the price tag and say, look, value for money, this is a really good deal. This is a really smart deal. I feel like it's a brilliant signing, and I think it's brilliant value for money, and I think he could go in good. But I think because of instant impact and all of that as well, I'm going to put him in the good category. I think it's a good signing, a good deal for the future. Going back into brilliant signings, Gundogan back to Manchester City. We know how much of a good player he is. I was so happy when he left Manchester City last year. We all know how good he is. And look, the FA Cup final, when 2 years ago scoring against United was not fun in 30 seconds in. Matthias de Ligt, again, I'm going to put in brilliant signing. £38 million for a guy that's won a league title in 3 different leagues, played under 10-odd before. Bayern Munich fans started a petition. Over 80,000 of them signed it to keep de Ligt at the club. He cost less money than Max Kilman when he was 24 and Max Kilman was 27. I know Manchester United lost 3-0 to Liverpool, but de Ligt didn't play bad, which sounds crazy because Man United conceded 3 goals, but it came through the midfield. It came through the midfield. Martinez had a bad game, but Dalot, Mazraoui and de Ligt didn't have a bad game despite conceding 3 goals, to be fair. And yeah, believe it or not, I think Raheem Sterling goes in value for money good. Now, I know it's a loan deal, but I think it's quite smart. Arsenal need a winger. Martinelli's not been up to it. Trossard seems to be better when he comes off the bench. Someone that can help back up Saka as well. Sterling was brilliant under Arteta. You're getting on loans. You're not going to have to pay a crazy fee. I think value for money, even though you've not brought him as a loan deal, I think it's very good business for Arsenal. I think Sterling, good deal. Going into the Y category is the goalkeeper that Newcastle signed from Nottingham Forest called... I can never say his name, but to be honest, never rated him. You overpay for him. Vlasic Demos, whatever you call him. I don't know why you signed him. I get you need a second keeper, but for the fee that you paid, I think it was to do a PSR, and all of that with Forest. Not the best signing ever. Going into, of course, we're going to go with someone a little bit different, a different club. Going with Pedro Neto, let's do Chelsea. Pedro Neto goes in brilliant signing for me. Pedro Neto would have been a brilliant signing for Manchester United, Arsenal, Tottenham, Chelsea. He would have been a brilliant signing for nearly every club. And that is because he's a fantastic player. He's a direct player. He's Premier League proven. He's young. The only worry with Pedro Neto is his injuries. But he already got an assist for Chelsea versus Wolves. Looks good, looks exciting. I think he'll be good under Maresca. I think it's a really... Going over to Mensah, Brighton signed him from Newcastle, about £30 million. I think it's a really good signing. You could put it, to be fair, you could put it in the brilliant signing category. I think, very good player at Feyenoord under Arne Slot last year. Player that I think Newcastle, if it wasn't for PSR, would have wanted to hold on to. I think you could put it in the brilliant signing category. I'm going to put it in the good signing category for now, but he's looked really, really good at Brighton. Very good bit of business from them. Odebert, not played for West Ham yet, but I think that will go in the brilliant signing category. I think he's a phenomenal player. Juventus looked at him. Manchester United were going to bring him in, but rules stopped it happening. I'm surprised Newcastle didn't make a move for him, if I was going to be totally honest. Very good right centre-back. Talking of player, Newcastle made a move for Lloyd Kelly. He's going in the value for money category. Came in as a free agent, can cover left back, can cover left centre back, can be Botman and Lewis Hall back up and Dan Burn back up and left foot defender. Newcastle needed 2 defenders for depth. They only got 1. They probably needed a right side centre back, and it has been a poor window from Newcastle. Had they got Gay and Mbeumo or Gay and Madueke, who they were linked to come July, it could have, they could have had a very different impact. But I think Lloyd Kelly's value for money, good signing as well. I think Mats Kilman is a good signing. £40 million. It's a bit of a stretch, but he's played under Lopetegui before at West Ham. Good centre-back, Premier League proven, leadership qualities. Can't go wrong with that signing at all as well. Going into Matt O'Reilly, who's gone to Brighton. This is going in the brilliant signing category. Matt O'Reilly is a player that, look, I've not watched a lot of Celtic, but he's a player that's caught my eyes for a number of years. He was linked to United 2 years ago. I think he's a fantastic player, fantastic baller. Sadly, he's got injured, but I do think that he's going to be a great addition to Brighton once he gets up and running. And then Lenny Yoro, I'm going to put him again in the brilliant signing category. I think the fact that Manchester United beat Real Madrid to this signing, the highest rated sort of young centre-back in football at 18 years of age, fair play to United, £42 million. There's realistic add-ons taking it to about £47 million, and then unrealistic add-ons if he's a super success, taking it to 52 million pounds as well. So yeah, it could be on the pricey side for an 18-year-old, but I think if Real Madrid are looking at him, it's always a good sign that United have beat Real Madrid to someone. Then we're going to talk about this guy that Newcastle signed, Osula. Didn't know a lot about him. Low risk move, value for money. I guess you can put him in there. Just going to be a backup, young talent coming through. Signed from Sheffield United. Ross Barkley again goes in the value for money category. I think it'll be a very good signing for Villa. It was unbelievable at Luton last year. Fantastic season for Luton. He looked really, really good. Can't go wrong with that. Aston Villa, someone there for depth. Manuel Ugarte is going to go in. I was going to put him in the good signing category, but I think after looking at Casemiro's recent performance, I'm going to put Manuel Ugarte in the brilliant signing category. I think United could have got him for a bit cheaper. But I think when you take into account how bad Casemiro's been, that Man United needed DM badly, and that Ugarte ranks first for possession adjusted tackles, duels won, tackles in Europe's top 5 leagues, I think it's a good signing. My only worry as a Man United fan is Ten Hag's system means the whole midfield is being hung out to dry. And although Casemiro's been bad, Ten Hag's system is not sustainable for any midfielder, even Rodri would struggle, and that is my fear. So until Ten Hag transforms the system, I don't think Ugarte transforms the team. And I put Savinho again in brilliant signing. I think it's been a very good addition for Manchester City. He looks threatening. I think he's a lot better than Doku. And yeah, Man City are quite smart with business. Going into the brilliant signing category again, it has to be Chiesa. When you look at the value for money in the Chiesa deal, fantastic bit of business there. £12 million. You're looking at, players. Elliot Anderson went for 3 times the price, who's been very good at Nottingham Forest. But you look at the price that players are going for, and 12 million for a player like Chiesa, I think it's very good bit of business from Liverpool. And Wan-Bissaka is going in the good signing category. Looked very good at West Ham already. Always been a good player. I think because he's at United, people have always liked to hate on him more. Because when he played for United, people like to make out he's bad. Now he's gone to West Ham. Everyone's like, oh, he's all right. He's all right. He's a good player. He's always been a good player. He's always been an all right player. He wasn't better than Deleuze, so he wasn't going to start at right back for United, but he's always solid. He did a job. Put 2 man of the match performances in Ten Hag's Cup finals. Arguably helped us win 2 trophies under Ten Hag. Very good bit of business from West Ham. You could put it in the brilliant signing category when you actually look at the price and the fee involved as well. João Felix, I'm putting in the good signing category. I think it's a good signing for Chelsea. My only question mark around it is he's probably best in those central zones, particularly in Maresca's system, but Cole Palmer's there, so maybe he can play Nicholas Jackson's role, but he's not an out-and-out striker. I think Chelsea could have done more of an out-and-out striker than João Felix, but he's such an unbelievably talented player and was good at Chelsea. It's no way a bad signing for Chelsea. I just don't want to put it in brilliant, because I think that, you've got Cole Palmer, you've got Neto, you've got Madueke, you've got Jackson. That seems to be the set on front four, but Felix could definitely compete with Jackson, but Maresca likes physical sort of strikers, whereas Felix and Cuckoo, Palmer, they all seem to operate best in the same zones. Even Sancho operates best centrally, which is the big question mark there. And Archie Gray is going in. To be fair, I want to put Archie Gray in brilliant signing. I do want to put Archie Gray in brilliant signing because I think it was an unbelievable bit of business from Tottenham. I think he's one of the best and most talented young players out there. The only thing that makes me opt away from putting Archie Gray in the brilliant signing category is more that I think Tottenham needs someone that is ready now to play the DM role. And I think that's why he's going to go in the good category. He can play right back, he can play DM. I think he's a fantastic player. I think he's going to be a really good signing for Tottenham eventually. But I'm going to put him in good just because of the longevity of that as well. Then going into the goalkeeper that I believe was signed by Chelsea. Not Chelsea, I meant Liverpool, my bad. Marma, Dashvi, whatever you're going to call him as well. To be honest, I do think it's a good signing. I do think he's a good keeper. I do think he'll be really good for Liverpool. But if I'm going to be totally honest with you guys, I don't think Liverpool needed it. He's a good, honestly, I think he's an unbelievable keeper. There's no doubt in my mind he's an unbelievable keeper, but I don't think Liverpool needed him. I feel like I've got to put it in the doesn't move me category or the why category. The thing is, it's not a bad signing. I would put him in good signing. If Alisson was leaving and they were replacing Alisson with him, it's a very good signing. But you have Trent, Salah and Van Dijk with 1 year left on their contract that needed to be renewed. You needed a DM, although Gravenberch has been fantastic. You arguably needed a left-sided sort of centre-back because Matip has gone to give cover at left-back, left centre-back. And then you got your winger. I just don't think you needed a keeper. I mean, if you're looking at it for the fact of replacing Alisson in the future, it's a good signing. If you're looking at it in regards to this summer, it's a wise signing. I'll put it in good signing because he's a good player, but he could have gone in the Y category. Sancho to Chelsea doesn't move me, to be honest, and I'm not just saying that because I'm a United fan. Chelsea needed a striker on deadline day. Madueke is better than Sancho. Neto's better than Sancho. Palmer's better than Sancho. Sancho likes to play more centrally as well when he comes off the wing, whereas I think Maresca likes Neto and Madueke because they stay wide. Sancho was a fantastic player before he came to United, and when Manchester United signed Sancho, I was one of the most excited I'd ever been about transfer signing. But he'd been crap for 3 years. He turned up late. He ditched training to play FIFA. He caused issues with the manager. As a United fan, I'm quite happy that he's gone. Do I think he's a better player than Antony? Yes. Would I have rather Sancho play for United on the right wing than Antony? Absolutely. But I do think that Victor Osimhen would have been a lot better signing for Chelsea than Sancho, because I think Chelsea needs someone that's a physical forward. But I don't think it's a bad signing for Chelsea. If Maresca gets the Sancho that was at Dortmund out, it instantly becomes a brilliant signing for Chelsea because it's 25 million. 25 million, but it just doesn't move me. 25 million, good player. Didn't really get enough chances at United because we did play Antony over him. But it's about, can Maresca get it out of him? Rutter as well. I'm going to be honest. Rutter to Brighton doesn't move me, and that's more because of the price. I think he's a good player, but considering he's Brighton's record transfer, doesn't move me enough. I think he's a good player, but it just doesn't move me. Jorgensen to Chelsea doesn't move me. Decent keeper, but just doesn't move me, to be honest, if I'm going to be totally honest. And Mazraoui to Man United, value for money, very, very good signing. I think he's going to be 15 million quid. Bayern Munich fans didn't want him to go. The only worry is his injury record, but he looks solid for Man United right now. So value for money, cannot complain at that signing. Mark Gui's going to go in the value for money category. What was he? He was very cheap. One of Barcelona's youngest up-and-coming talents. Looks like a player. Not a bad deal for Chelsea. Kieran Dewsbury as well was going in the doesn't move me category. I like Kieran Dewsbury. He's a good player, but I think Chelsea would have been better off with a more defensive-minded player than Dewsbury Hall. I think Palmer. I almost think that Carney could give Dewsbury Hall some competition in that sort of 8 role. I think it's a good deal. I mean, I don't think Enzo Fernandez has been the most impressive, so maybe Dewsbury will want to pivot with Caicedo. But it just didn't move me. I think he's a good player. I rate him. But for a Chelsea signing, I'm going to be honest, it just didn't move me. Toss into Chelsea, very good value for money. Free centre back, easy done. I could be wrong with some of these signings. And Anselmo, I think, is a very good signing for Chelsea. I'm a massive fan of Anselmo, having watched him, obviously, sort of doing an analysis on it and an analysis on him because I thought it was United bound. I think that he looks like a really good young talent, Anselmo as well. Solanke, I'm going to put in it's a toss up between the good and brilliant signing category, but I think I'm going to put category because Tottenham needed a striker. He's someone that has good goal numbers. He's someone who can score in the Premier League. Premier League proven he presses. He suits Ange's system to a T. And I think in Tottenham's last few games, you knew that they needed him. Maybe they could have gotten for a little bit cheaper, sure. But when you're an English striker in your prime years that scored 90 goals in the league, you're not going to come cheap. And I'm going to put Vega in brilliant signing for Chelsea. Now, I think this could probably go in good signing when you look at the players in good signing, but I think when you look at Maresca's system, his adaptability to play left back, midfield, centre back, I think he's going to become a really key player at Chelsea come the end of the season. Going into a Brighton player here. So Gruder is a 20-year-old right winger, one of the highest talents in Germany, and I think it's absolutely brilliant business yet again from Brighton. Very highly rated, surprised bigger clubs didn't look at him. Mats Wiefer, absolutely brilliant business from Brighton again. Mats Wiefer was a player I wanted at Manchester United this summer. When you look at the Premier League, his physicality, his ground coverage, I think he's going to be unbelievable in Brighton's midfield rebuild. Guido Rodriguez came to West Ham on a free. Very good value for money there as well. Somerville, I think, will be a good signing. Probably most like Nico Williams in terms of profile of player. Everyone wanted Nico Williams. He wasn't available on the market. Now, he's nowhere near the level of Nico Williams yet, but in terms of profile, his directness, ability to play both sides, his output has similarities to Nico Williams. Illing Jr., I'm putting in the Y category. I think Aston Villa didn't want him, but they needed to do some kind of deal for Douglas Luiz, and that was the way it was going to happen. I don't think he's a good player. If I'm going to be honest, I don't rate him. No offense, Aston Villa fans. Ian Maatsen, I think, is a good signing for Aston Villa. Very, very, very good, talented young player. Unbelievable at Dortmund at loan. Mikel Merino, I think, will be a brilliant signing for Arsenal. 28 years of age, good value for money. When I looked at Arsenal, more than a striker, I always felt they needed a left centre mid. I looked at Arsenal saying winger and left centre mid, they may need more than a striker with Havertz's form, and Jesus is able to do a job. And I think when you look at the left centre mid profile that Mikel Arteta wants, Merino does tick every single box for Arsenal. He ticks off every single box that Arteta wants in a midfielder for Arsenal. He's physical. He's good in all phases of play. He's good on the ball. He's good off the ball. He ticks so many boxes. Joshua Zirkzee to United, I'm putting in the good signing category. I think Joshua Zirkzee is a player that will take time to warm up to the Premier League and the physicality and the intensity of it, but he scored a goal in his first game, probably should have scored a goal in his third game. But I said in March when I did a list of who I wanted United to sign, I put Joshua Zirkzee in there because he was the type of profile of striker we needed. I said that Man United need to sign João Pedro, Cunha or Joshua Zirkzee. There was 3 striker names I wrote down, which was João Pedro, who's been unbelievable for Brighton, and I think a lot of people slept on him this summer. Cunha for Wolves and Zirkzee, because that was kind of the profile of striker I wanted, because it was almost someone that could play behind the striker, so we can play him with Højlund, but also we can use him as a striker and, sort of rotate him in, because we weren't giving Højlund service, whereas Zirkzee is someone that drops deeper and gets more involved in play. Amadou Onana is going in the brilliant signing category. He was a bit hit and miss at Everton, but I think I watched him in the Euros for Belgium, who's incredible. I think he was one of the players that I would have taken at United, because I think Everton in the system and Sean Dyche's ball doesn't get the best out of him. I think in the right system, he's an unbelievable player. He's a ground monster. He's now adding goals and assists to his game at Aston Villa, getting up there, scoring goals. He's a powerhouse. I think he's going to be unbelievable for Aston Villa. And I think a few top clubs will regret missing out on him. And I've done Euro and I've done Mats, and they were in there twice. So they are my rankings. Brilliant, good, value for money, doesn't move me, and why. But I've got to obviously rank my top 5 signings. So anyone in the brilliant category, I've now got to rank who I think the top 5 summer signings will be. So we're going to start with, I think, Mats Wiefer. I think Mats Wiefer to Brighton. I think he's going to be one where we're saying down the line, what a deal from Brighton. And I have to say, I forgot to include 30 in this video that Brighton also signed, which has really annoyed me how I've somehow missed out on him, because I put 30 in the top signing category as well for Brighton. But Mats Wiefer, I think, will be in the top 5 signings. I think Ricardo Calafiori. I think Timber's doing well, but I think he's going to cement that centre back left back spot. I think he's a monster. I think he's a beast. It's difficult to pick a top 5 out of all the names on this list, if I'm going to be totally honest. I think Brighton have done some super smart business. I think, like, value for money, like, there's some really good deals. Like, I think Berg will value for money, but I'm thinking instant impact, like Cole Palmer, instant impact to Chelsea. I think you'd have to go with something like Amadou Onana for Villa. I think he's been really good for Villa already. I think he's probably in the top 5. I'm looking at value for money and stuff. I mean, like, Chiesa not necessarily going to start, so I don't want to put him in the top 5. Value for money is a great deal. Pedro Neto has injury issues. Man United a bit inconsistent. To choose a top 5, it is very, very difficult, if I'm going to be totally honest with you. I think Savinho from Man City is going to be a really good deal. And then I'm trying to think who else could go in my top 5 here. Solanke's good. There's some really good deals here. Neto, I think, is an unbelievable signing for Chelsea, but I just don't know with his injuries if I want to put him in the top 5. Gundogan's good. I think De Ligt will be really good. To be honest, I want to put De Ligt in there, but it's just United might drag him down. I feel like United could honestly drag De Ligt down, if I'm going to be totally honest with you. We're scrolling down at value for money. Do you know what? I'm going to put Mazraoui in there. I think value for money, I think it will be Man United's best signing. I think we got him for less than we saw Wan-Bissaka for. He can play left back, he can play right back. He's looked good so far. So I'm going to make them my top 5 signings. Let me know your thoughts down below. Let me know if you change any of my rankings. There's some of them in good that I would almost put higher, but I'm also thinking about instant impact as well, if I'm going to be honest. But let me know your thoughts. Thank you for watching. Bye.